Alright, like, click, and subscribe, do all that. Your boy's back with another series. You already know what it is. This was called Fate, the Winx Saga. Starting off 2021 with the first season of Fate, the Winx Saga. Is 6 episodes, around 45 to 50 minutes apiece on each episode. And then basically it's talking about, Bloom is a student in school and she is a fairy. And it's a fairy school that's called Alfea. And this school is basically a place where people are going to learn about their powers or what kind of powers they really have. Now, there are a lot of trials and tribulations that go on within this show. And like I said, it's about 6 episodes, 45 to 50 minutes apiece. But today I'm just going to go over episode 1 because I don't want to give away the whole thing. And the way it ended, I guarantee it's going to be a season 2. So episode 1 is called To the Waters and the Wind. So right off the back, you have some random guy in the woods by himself. He sees a sheep. He starts hearing noises in the woods when he discovers a dead body. So basically he turns around to run, but ends up getting tripped up. So we all know he's pretty much done deal. But before he gets massacred, he gravitates towards this thing that looks like a portal or a barrier. Yeah, and that's pretty much how the show starts. It's crazy. So now at the university, we enter our main character, Bloom. And she's basically just trying to get adjusted. So she has her first interaction with this guy named Sky. Love interest much? Then she talks to somebody else who could be a potential roommate, this lady named Stella. Stella comes off as rude, but you could tell she's probably pretty powerful. So after Stella kinda shows Bloom around, she ends up chatting with the head mistress of Alfea. I can't remember her name, we're just gonna call her the head mistress. She starts explaining to Bloom the purpose of the school, how they forged magic and discovered long lost relics and things of that nature. Basically giving in-depth knowledge to what the school's about and why she was chosen to go there. So after all that, she finally gets settled into her dorm and she makes a phone call to her parents telling them that, you know what I'm saying, they actually found out that she's in Switzerland. Well, the parents think she's in Switzerland, but really she's gone to this elf school. So it's like they wouldn't understand, I guess. But we find out quickly the reason why is because the parents don't have powers of their own. And here we have her official roommate, Aisha, who ends up being a closer friend. And she's actually a fairy too because, you know, it's a fairy school. And next door we have 2 other roommates, one by the name of Tara and Musa. Tara and Musa are roommates with Bloom, Asia, and Stella. So there you go, 5 in 1. So out in the courtyard, you have some special training or whatever. Sky is training with his best friend, Riv. So the people that are not particularly fairies, they have other ways of handling combat skills. And here we have this guy named Astor. He mentors Sky in completely different ways. There's a backstory behind that. Here we have Dean. He's also training under Ashtar. Trust me, he's an important character too. So for whatever reason, Riv runs off into the forest and he discovers the old man we see in the beginning of the episode just lying there, flat out, just dead. So Ashtar and the head mistress head out to the forest and they concur that what did this was a thing called a burnt one. Yeah, these so-called burnt ones are out here terrorizing the forest. For what reason? No idea yet. So back at school, the girls are just mingling and all that. Tara's dad actually works here at the university. I think he works on like human biology and plants and stuff. Here enters Beatrix. Now this girl's pretty much our antagonist throughout the entire show. She tells the head mistress she's her biggest fan and all this other stuff, but her motives go beyond that. She's trying to figure out the secrets of what's being held within this university. Meanwhile, Bloom flashed back to some times that she's had troubles with her mom. There's more to that later on. Bloom and Sky again. Love interest time. Or maybe not. Apparently Stella was getting it popping with Sky before Bloom even entered the picture. So obviously she gonna feel some type of way. So back at the moat, Aisha's swimming. Bloom goes exploring. Off campus, that is. The forbidden forest she's told not to go in. So she's just out there going through her phone and you see pictures of a burnt house. I'm sensing to myself, there's gotta be some type of backstory there. So that gives her the gumption to start practicing magic on her own. Of course, she's a flame fairy, whatever, but then she loses control. And at this point, she can't stop herself when Asia comes to check on her. And then Asia actually puts out the fire. So at that moment, we found out Asia's a water fairy. She controls water and stuff. No wonder she likes to swim so much. So after all this, Asia and Bloom have a heart-to-heart. And then we get some backstory about why Bloom and her mom don't really get along like that. Now, her mom tried to set discipline in the house when they were there. And Bloom is not somebody that could really control her temper like that. At that time, she never really understood her powers. So one night she couldn't sleep and she got accidentally so enraged that she accidentally started a fire in the house. And damn near almost burnt their parents alive. Yeah, that shit was crazy. And because her parents just think her daughter's a regular human being, there's no way they would think that she started a fire or how the fire got started or whatever the heck happened. And so apparently every night after that, she would sneak out the house and live in this abandoned warehouse or whatever like that until she decided to go to school. a school of fairies that their parents don't know nothing about. Like I said, they think she's in Switzerland somewhere. Time for college kids getting drunk shit. Terra gets picked on one too many times and she ain't having that shit. And we find out her powers is controlling plants of the earth. She doesn't kill Riv, relax. Back in the room, Bloom and Stella are having a chat. So Stella lets Bloom borrow her ring that her mom gave her. I guess it's a ring to teleport from different worlds. And she basically used the ring to go back home to see how her parents are doing. And Muse's power, she comes back with Aisha to talk to Stella. And by the way, her power is like mind fairy. She can feel everybody's thoughts and read minds and stuff like that. So after Bloom sees her parents, she goes back to the warehouse to head back to the academy. The problem is there's a burnt one in the vicinity. While trying to escape the burnt one, she ends up dropping the ring. But the headmistress comes out of nowhere and saves her. And of course, all her friends show up there too. Meanwhile, Stella goes in pursuit of her ex-boyfriend, Sky. You already know they about to get it in. Bloom, Terra, Asia, and Musa get back to the university. On the other side of the school, Riv and Beatrix link up. Probably up to some vigilante business. Meanwhile, the headmistress tells Astra that she chained up the burnt ones back in the same warehouse that she captured it. So at that point, we find out the headmistress's name is Farah. So the thing about these so-called burnt ones, if they slice you or they cut your skin or whatever, then you automatically get infected. And if you get infected too soon, you'll either die or turn into one of the burnt ones. Who's this hooded up in a cloak and dagger? Knowing exactly where the burnt one is. Using electrical powers and whatnot. Guess who's an electric fairy in this one? Oh, snaps, it's motherfucking Beatrix. And that's how episode 1 ends. It's a pretty good show created by Brian Young. Cast has Abigail Cohen, Hannah Van Der Westdijkson, Precious Mustafa, Elliot Salt, Aisha Applebaum, Danny Griffin, Sadie Soverall, Freddie Thorpe, Rob James Collier, Eve Best, and Leslie Sharp. It's a fan teen TV drama. It's rated TV MA for mature audiences only. And I recommend it if you like some magical mayhem. Fate, the Winx Saga on Netflix. Check it out. So once again, like, click, and subscribe if you enjoyed that. It's your boy GM Slick DZ out the Easy. I'm out. Mr. Bitch.